Today we're going to talk about ordered pairs. Now first off, we have to understand what an ordered pair is. So we have to have tick marks on each of these, and our scale can differ. As long as we're consistent, we can have whatever tick marks we want to use. So let's just go by ones this time. So the one that I'm labeling right now, as a reminder, is called the x-axis. So we have the positives going to the right, and we have the negatives going to the left. A lot like you would see with a just with a regular line that we graph stuff on. And then the one that's going up and down is our y-axis. And so the positives go up and the negatives go down. And so as we talk about a ordered pair, we always are going to look in the x direction first, and then we're going to go in the y direction. And so as we start to, it's called graphing. And so let's say we had the point 3, 2. So we would go in the x direction first, 1, 2, 3, and then in the y direction second, 1, 2. And so that's where that point would be. Let's call that point A. And so that's actually why it's called the rectangular coordinate system as well, is because it creates a little rectangle there. Okay, let's take a look at another point to graph. Let's say we have the point 0, 5. So we go in the x direction first, which is, we're not going left or right, and then we're going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we have B at 0, 5. Now the biggest mistake that I see with these is that these get flipped, the x and y get flipped around. So make sure that you're always graphing your x first, which is on your horizontal axis, and then you graph your y, which is on your vertical axis, and you're creating a rectangle for each of them. So as we look at this, let's do one more example. Let's do C. Let's go negative 3 and negative 1. So we're going to go, this is, by the way, also referred to as the x-coordinate. And then this is the y-coordinate. And so together they're called coordinates. Kind of like if you think about it as GPS. You have GPS coordinates. So you have two different coordinates to determine where you are. So we have our x-coordinate is negative 3, so we get negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. And then we go down 1. So we're actually right in that 3. As we look at this rectangular coordinate system, we see that there's a point right here at 0, 0. And since this is the beginning of both axes, we call this the origin. And it also is saying this is where you start when you move, for example on C, when you move negative 3. And then you go down negative 1 from there. So it's again creating that rectangle that's right here. But the origin is where we start. One other interesting feature about the Cartesian coordinate system is we have quadrants. So if you look, you see that we have like a section here, a section here, a section here, and a section here. These are called quadrants because quad means 4, so we have 4 different areas. And so this upper right one is called the first quadrant. And so when we look at this, we have our x's are greater than 0, meaning they are positive. And we also have our y's that are greater than 0 because they are positive. Now when we come over here, here's our second quadrant. And so when we look at our second quadrant, we see that we have our x's are less than 0, meaning they are negative. And we have our y's, which are positive, so they are still greater than 0. So anything above our x-axis, our y is positive, or we could say it's greater than 0. Now when we keep going around counterclockwise, our third quadrant is down here. And what we notice is that both our x and y are negative. So they're both less than 0. And then our last one is our fourth quadrant. And we have our x is greater than 0 and our y is less than 0, or our y is positive, or sorry, our x is positive and our y is negative. So that's just a feature that can kind of help you determine a little bit of where these each will be. So if you have a positive, you will assume that it's up in this first quadrant here. So that can kind of help you if you're trying to kind of estimate where it's going to be in your brain. You can say, okay, I know it's going to be in that top right quadrant. And so if you got it in the third quadrant, you would know that you made a mistake somewhere. So you can go back and take a look at that and fix it. That is all we have today on ordered pairs. Hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for watching.